Okay, welcome back to my channel. While I am doing this, I am making a cup of coffee because I just woke up and I want coffee. And I don't have COVID. I don't know where that came from. So, okay, so it's been a minute. Last time we were on here, I just didn't realize that I haven't made a video in so long. So anyways, also my videos are so long, and I'm pretty sure I just am trying to not make them so long. But since I don't know how to edit, and you guys, I've tried to edit. I have tried, I promise you. I just don't get it. I'm gonna mess around on my computer. Anyways, and I also wanted to point something really cool out. So, on my Goodreads app, if you don't follow me, feel free to follow me. I will follow back. I love the Goodreads app. I love reading, like, when I pick out my next book, like, okay, I'm going to read this next. I love going and reading the reviews, because sometimes that's changed my mind. I've been like, oh, actually, I'm not going to read that book next. Anyways. Oh, my ADD, I don't know why I was telling you that. Goodreads. Oh, okay. So, it tells you how many books you read, right? You can keep track. Last year, I set a goal to read 30 books, and I only read 15. So this year I was like, you know what? I don't want to pressure myself, so I set a goal to read 14 books for the year. Last year, for a lot of the year, I was just not in a good place. Had a lot of things that were bothering me, a lot of things I needed to work on, and I was working somewhere, and I really do love the people from that job. I love my manager. I don't want you to think that I don't, but mentally it was not a good space for me, and I don't think that's anybody's fault. I think I wanted it to be a good space for me, and it just wasn't. That's why I stayed there for so long. And leaving is really... Two things have shown me that I was in a good place. Leaving and starting therapy have just shown me that that just wasn't it for me. And it's nobody's fault. It's not my fault. It's not their fault. It just wasn't. And I'm proud of myself for... Sorry, that's my Keurig. I'm proud of myself for recognizing that that wasn't the place for me and leaving, because it would have been so easy to just stay and be unhappy, and I didn't want that. You know what I mean? So, anyways, that's just my snippet. And I'm sorry, that thing is so loud. Where that ties back into today is last year I read, like I said, 15 books. This year, so far, I've already read 12. And to me, that just shows me that I'm in a better place mentally, because reading is one of my favorite things. And when I'm in a place mentally where I'm not okay, I don't do the things that I love. And to me, it's really just shown me. Also, I had like 3 weeks off to do nothing. So, but it's just really shown me that I wasn't okay mentally, and I am okay now. And I'm getting better every day, and I'm working with my therapist every week. So I know this is a book channel, but I just encourage all of you, if you're in a bad place mentally, if it's your job, relationship, anything, to just, I don't want to say leave, because I don't, but to figure it out. Like, no, that sounds rude. Go to therapy, because it'll help you realize what you need to leave behind. in order to get to a better place. Sorry, that was messy. I don't want to tell anyone to like divorce their husband unless he's a horrible person. Then you do you. You know what? I'm just gonna stop and we're gonna get into the books. So I'm not peeing. That's my Keurig. So the first book that I want to talk about, it's in the Burn for Burn series. It's called Burn for Burn. Oh my gosh, I love this book. This book is about 3 girls, Kat, Lilia, and Mary. And they all have some sort of revenge they want to take. And fate kind of brings them together this one night, and they kind of all realize that they want to take revenge on sort of the same people. So they come up with a plan. And it drew me in. It's a very summer book. They live on an island called Jar Island. And just the whole time I was picturing like super summer vibes, you know? So it made me super stoked for summer. The only reason it gets a 4 out of 4 really is because, again, like I already told you guys, this year I'm going to keep my 5 out of 5s very... Like, it has to be like a perfect book to get a 5 out of 5. Anyways, I highly recommend it. It's by Jenny Han and Vivian. I'm just going to say that because I don't want to butcher her last name. Amazing writers. If you don't know Jenny Han, she's the one who wrote To All the Boys I've Loved Before. If you've read or seen the movie, she's amazing. I love her. Perfect. Okay. The next book I read was The People We Met on Vacation. Oh my gosh. This book will go down in history as one of my all-time favorite books. And I would reread this book. And there's not a lot of books I would reread. I feel bad. I don't know who it's by. I need to give authors more credit. Because without them, I wouldn't have these books. And I didn't write it down. So sorry, folks. But it's so good. It's about these 2 people, Alex and Poppy. And they're best friends. And every year they go on vacation together. But 2 years ago, something happened. And you don't really know what it was yet. And it created them to not talk for 2 years. Well, Poppy decides to invite him last minute on one more vacation, and he happens to say it. He happens to say yes. Y'all, so good. 5 out of 5. I laughed, I cried, all the things. It needs to be turned into a Netflix movie. I personally pictured the couple as this TikTok couple I follow. I don't know why, just their characteristics reminded me of them. I don't know who the actors would be, but I would watch that every day. It was so good, you guys. So good. Highly recommend. It was so good that I bought my sister-in-law the book for her birthday. Okay, the next book I read was the second book in the Burn for Burn series called Fire with Fire. Now, if you're going to read Burn for Burn, stop watching now because I'm going to give spoilers. Oh my gosh. This book, you guys. So good. So at the end of Burn for Burn, everything blows up in their face. There's some weird supernatural things happening, but you don't know what exactly going on with Mary. And Fire for Fire reeled me in. I think I read it in 3 days. It was so good. The ending, I put the book down and I looked around and I was like, what just happened? So freaking good. This book I gave a 5 out of 5. Because I already know everything, this won't be a book that I'll reread. But because it reeled me in so much and I could not put it down and I loved the ending, it gets a 5 out of 5. Okay, the fourth book I read was the last book in the Fade trilogy. It's called Gone. A trilogy's 3, right? I don't know. So I guess technically Burn for Burn's a trilogy. Because the second one's a sequel. So the third's a trilogy. And anything over 3 is a series. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, this book sucked. I actually don't know why I gave it 3 stars. I'm pretty sure I meant to give it 2 or 1. This book just didn't need to happen. I think they could have taken some things from the third book and wrapped it up in the second book. I did love the first and second book. They were so good, so I wanted to read the third book. The only reason I finished it is because it was only like 180 pages or something like that. So I read it really quickly. I think I read it in like 2 days. But it just isn't a book that needed to be there. It didn't add anything to the story. It closed the story. And I hate when authors do that. If you're going to do that, just close it in the second book. Don't create a whole third book that has no meaning. I don't know. That's just me. I will not reread this trilogy series, whatever you want to call it, because of the third book. Because I know how it ends and I think it's stupid. Okay, the last book I read was the last book in the Burn for Burn series called Ashes to Ashes. Beautiful. Perfect. I loved everything about it. I loved it. The only thing I did not love is how it ended. And that is why it only gets 4 out of 5 stars. Because the people I wanted to end up together did not end up together. And I was pissed. And they ended up with people I thought was stupid. I think they should make this into a Netflix miniseries. That's the last book in the trilogy. I think they could make it in like 3 parts. I think they could do the first one in 1 part, the second one, and then the third one. I would watch it, especially if the girl from To All the Boys I've Loved Before was in it. I would die. I would love it so much. I highly recommend this series. Ooh, I recommend it to a T. It was so good, and it had everything. It had mystery, it had summer vibes, it had romance. It literally had everything. And I almost wish that I could forget about it so that I could reread it. That's how good it was. And it makes me laugh too because Burn for Burn sat on my bookshelf for 2 years before I picked it up. So it's made me kind of go back and look and been like, okay, what's on my bookshelf that's been on my bookshelf for a while that I haven't read? Yeah. Well, thank you for listening to me babble. Always a pleasure. Again, sorry I don't know how to edit. Probably not gonna change anytime soon. I love you guys. I want to hear what you've been reading, what you've been up to. I am super pumped since my goal this year was to read 14 books and I'm already at 12. I will definitely surpass my goal, so I'm excited to see how many books I will read this year. I'm not going to put a number on it because I am going to start school here pretty soon, and that also kind of slows down my reading, but super pumped. Want to hear what you're reading, want to hear your recommendations. If you've read any of these books, I want to hear what you think. Yeah, stay safe, get vaccinated. Thanks for watching my channel, and I love you.